from the beginning. We're continuing Unit 30. Once again, the Menucha of Sir Naim Dangur and Sir Moshe Montefiore. And we started the issue, we learned in Unit 29, we learned the mitzvah Zachor Tiyan Shabbat Lekadusho. So first we learned about Zachor, right? We discussed what did the word Zachor mean according to different midrashim. How is that done? Finally, Lekadusho, what is the Kiddush? What is the Kiddush on the Doraita level, on the Rabbanan level, the Kiddush during the evening, Kiddush during the morning. Now we're going to go more into the nitty-gritty and the details of the actual halachot of Kiddush. So you need to have wine. That we learned already in Unit 29, that you have to have actual wine. The Gemara in Eruvin and in many other places mentions this meimra, brought from Rav Baravua, Kosel Bracha, Tzarch Sheyeh Bo Rova Revi'it, Kadesh Yim Zegen V'Yamod El Revi'it. So it has to have a quarter of Revi'it, so that you could add 3/4 of water over that wine, because their wine was extremely strong, apparently, and no one would drink it in its raw state. You'd always have, right, it wouldn't be 100% wine, it would be 25% wine. So ultimately, this means that the wine you have to make Kiddush on has to be at least a Revi'it. But how much do you actually have to drink? It's a different question. So there are two Gemaras. The one Gemara in Psachim Daf Kufei, Amud Bet, says, Hamvarech tzarch shit'om. Now, okay, how much is lit'om? So the Gemara then explains, mit'imat yain, when you said lit'om, right, to taste. But again, taste has to be a taste. It has to be real taste. What is that? The Gemara says, kolshu. Rabbi Yossi bar Yehuda omer, melo lugma. V'chen, amar Rav Huna amar Rav, v'chen tani Rav Gidel dimin Arash, hamkadesh v'tam melo lugma yatsa, v'im lav lo yatsa. What is melo lugma? Cheekful, right? As we learned that from the halachot of Yom Kippur, right? Melo lugma is a cheekful, right? You fill up that cheek, right? Now, on the other hand, right, sorry, I forgot, I actually brought the Gemara in Yoma. Melo lugmav, amar Rav Yehuda amar Shmuel, lo melo lugmav mamash, ala kol shilus al kol tzad echad v'yirei ki melo lugmav. So we learned from the halachot of Yom Kippur, when are you chayav karet for eating or drinking, in this case, for drinking on Yom Kippur? When you drink melo lugmav, meaning a significant amount of drink is only considered as such if it's melo lugmav. Less than that is not considered a significant amount of drink. If you drink any less, that's not really drinking. That's not really drinking a significant enough amount. And that's why there's a machloket when you say lit'om. What do we mean? I mean to get any kind, any level, any extent of taste, just to taste it, to have a drop, just to taste, or do we mean to taste in the sense that something that is actually drinking? Drinking can only be recognized as melo lugmav. That's why it's very relevant halacha in Yoma. Whenever it's relevant for sick people, for pregnant and nursing women, many times on Yom Kippur we say the isur karet is only when they have melo lugmav. So in many cases we'd be mekel and would be called shiurim, meaning less than the shiur. The shiur is melo lugmav, and then we tell them to drink less than that. But now the thing is this. There's a Gemara, so that's one Gemara. So this Gemara says it's machloket mit'imat yain. Is it kolshehu or is it melo lugmav? And the bottom line seems to be melo lugmav, which would be a cheekful, right? As we saw in the Gemara in Yoma. On the other hand, Daf Kufchet, the Gemara says v'ude shata ruba de kasa. The question is, what is this ruba de kasa? What is this story of v'ude shata ruba de kasa? So ruba de kasa could mean one of two things. The Gemara there, on the one hand, we're in the Gemara in Psachim, Daf Kufchet, says you have to drink most of the cup. So the Rambam, I didn't bring the Rambam here, I'm sorry. The Rambam says that there's a halacha, you have to drink 4 cups of wine on Leila Seder. Now, the cups of wine need to be at least a revi'it full. The cups have to be full. No matter what size they are, they need to be full. You have to drink all 4 of them, but ruba kechulo, if you drink, that's the rule in many halachot, including the halachot of Arba Kosot. You have to drink 4 cups. When I say 4 cups, I mean most of 4 cups. So even if I take a cup that big, which is a lot more than Ravit, I'll have to drink most of it, right? That's how the Rambam learns the halacha of v'ude shata ruba de kasa in the Gemara in Psachim Kufchet. But the Tosfot disagree, and they say the Gemara there is not referring to Arba Kosot specifically, they're referring to any cup of any Kiddush, anytime there's a kos shel bracha, including the Kiddush wine. That's why the Tosfot say, wait, on the one hand, I have a Gemara that says that you have to drink melo lugmav, of Kiddush wine. So that's a certain amount. The Gemara in Pesachim Kufchet says you have to drink most of the cup. Most of what cup? This is a pretty big cup, right? That's going to be a lot more. That's why Tosfot say, no, it's the same thing. Nireh shehu rov revi'it. How much is melol ugmav? Melol ugmav is rov revi'it. So I say most of a cup, what I mean is most of the required amount to be in a kos kiddush of any kos bracha. And therefore, right, according to the Rambam, you have to drink most of the arba kosot. According to Tosfot, you have to drink most of a revi'it because that's the minimal amount you have to drink. And then they say, usually rov revi'it will be melol ugmav. So if you fill up a cheek with liquid, how much would that be? Normally that would be rov revi'it. That's the way Tosfot explained. Now the problem is, this isn't always true, right? Because there are giants out there. For example, there's Og Melech HaBashan, right? Og Melech HaBashan, says Tosfot, would have to drink more than the rov revi'it if he was Jewish and he was making Kiddush and he'd want to have a rov revi'it. That wouldn't be enough. That wouldn't suffice. He'd have to have melol ugmav. And therefore, when the Gemara says what it means is most people rov revi'it is melol ugmav, but you have to be aware that it's not always true. By the way, just to comment about, it sounds a bit silly that why is Tosfot talking about Og Melech HaBashan? He wasn't really Jewish, was he? There's the Tosfot. This Tosfot is based on the Gemara. The Gemara brings a machloket there between Beit Shammai and Beit Hillel about how much do you have to drink on Yom Kippur in order to mitchayev. Do you have to drink a revi'it or do you have to drink melol ugmav? So say melol ugmav l'chora is the more chamur shita, right? Because it's less than your revi'it, unless you're Og Melech HaBashan, right? If you're Og Melech HaBashan, so then the opinion that says melol ugmav is actually more mekel, right? Because Og Melech HaBashan wouldn't feel drinking just a revi'it because that's nothing compared to his humongous body. But for most people, that would be quite fulfilling and quite contenting, which is the reason that's the amount you're not allowed to drink on Yom Kippur. Anyway, so just to sum this up, the Rambam refers to arba kosot. You have to drink most of whatever cup you filled up for arba kosot because you have to drink 4 full cups, meaning most of the 4 full cups that you fill up, whatever cup they are. Tosfot, and this is also the psak l'halacha, says rov ruba de kasa is not any cup, rov of a revi'it. Rov of a revi'it, because that's the required cup for any, as we saw over here, kos shel bracha, right? It has to be a revi'it. That's what we say l'halacha. How much is this l'maisa? Let's read this in Shulchan Aruch and Shvat Shabbat Chatash. Says Shulchan Aruch, צריך לשתות מכוס של קידוש כמלוא לוגמיו, דהיינו כל שיסתלקנו לצד אחד בפיו, ויראה מלא לוגמיו, והוא רובו של רביעית. How much is this on the practical scale? Says the Shvat Shabbat כהלכתה, כוס של ברכה צריך שיהיה בה לפחות רביעית הלוג יין, שיערו לנו גדולי האחרונית מידתה. יש הנוהגים על פי מנהג ירושלים עתיק, לקחת כוס המכיל 86 סמ"ק כמניין כוס. Rav Carmel told me that Rav Zalman Nechemia Goldberg Zatzal used a 90 cc cup to make it clear that that's the halacha, that that's as much as you need. No, you don't need any more than that. הנוהגים כדעת חזון איש מחמירים ולוקחים כוס המכילה 150 סמ"ק. How much is melol ugmav? פסקי תשובות brings from the practical poskim. לפי המציאות לאחר מדידות מדויקות, ימצא שיעור מלול וגמב אצל רובה דלמה הוא בין 50 ל-55 סמ"ק. This is very relevant. There's a very important halacha, right? When we said, as I said before, when we instruct sick people, pregnant or nursing women in their specific situation to drink pachot mika shiur on Yom Kippur, to drink less than the shiur on Yom Kippur, we tell them to measure 35 cc each time or something like that, based on these opinions. According to Chazon Ish, that would come out a lot more, right? According to Chazon Ish, you can drink half a cup, you can drink 60 cc. Beseder. Now, how much do you have to drink at a time? Mishnah Berurah Sha'ar Tzion says you have to drink in a way that's normal. And I just want to point that out because it was relevant in cases where I saw if you drink, there's a difference between if you're drinking grape juice or a sweet wine where you could just, and where you drink dry red wine, and that's not a normal way of drinking it. It has to be the normal way of drinking. Right? And that's why he says, it has to be within 9 minutes. I think 9 minutes is okay. We could drink that much in 9 minutes. Not too hard. But I think it's important to be aware you have to drink the way that's normal to drink. But the amount you have to drink ultimately has to be at least 55 cc.